Hi, I'm Michael Appel for BizNews.com. News coming out over the weekend that over 220 South African students in Russia are facing very uncertain futures in that country as the money for their accommodation, tuition, and general living expenses through stipends has stopped flowing. These students are fully funded by the Mpumalanga Education Department. Now, in the past, the placement of exchange students to various institutions around the world was facilitated by a contracted implementation agent, in this case, Ruckus, whose contract has since expired as of March 2022. The department advertised the tender in October 2021, but received no responses and has re-advertised it only now in October 2022. But these students have been left in the lurch. There are consequences for this failure by the government. My guest is Nelspruit local, Sizwe Mkhatshwa, in Tambov in Russia, very far from home. Thanks for chatting to us, Sizwe.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for the invitation.
How long have you been in Russia? What are you studying? And when did it become apparent that there was a problem on the funding front?
I've been in Russia for 5 years. I'm doing my fifth year in general medicine, a student of the Tambov State Medical University. Um, the problem with stipends, especially for the stipend, we started noticing around June because students started having problems with receiving stipends for June, July, August until we started complaining about it. Then we were told that the contractor, which was the Rakas SA, managed by Dr. Kum, actually their contract expired, which we most of the students were confused why actually the contract expired mid because we thought we were going to have them for at least 6 years still working with them because we had a mutual relationship with them. We could call them anytime whenever we face troubles in school. But since the government took over, we've been having trouble reaching them.
So Ruckus was the implementing agent, the kind of go-between yourselves and the Department of Education. So you were able to get on the phone to them. Have they just stopped taking your calls?
Not exactly, not exactly. They did actually try to explain to us some of the students why they can no longer assist us, but the thing they were telling us is more of they were still waiting for funds from the government. We should just calm down because I was home and I was still needing to receive my invitation from the school. Also, apply for a new visa, get flight tickets so that I can arrive to school early by the 1st of September, which is actually school opening.
Now, the shortage in funding, is it for everything I mentioned? Is it for accommodation, tuition, and the stipends, or is it mostly just the stipend issue?
Of course, it is mostly of what you said. Actually, 100% of what you said. Accommodation, tuition, plus our stipend. We've been having troubles with that. Even the school have given us a date of the 14th that we should paid for school fees before we get expelled.
Yeah, and that's the upcoming 14th of October. That's in 2 days' time. Now,
Of course, this Friday.
I reached out to the department yesterday and they sent me a statement. I'm sure it's a statement that all of you have by now seen. And it picked up on an issue of the 4,000 Rand stipend being increased to 5,000 Rand. Sees where we don't get a lot of information out of Russia. So I'm going to use the opportunity. How far does 5,000 Rand, when the money comes in, how far does 5,000 Rand go in Russia from
Oh,
a living standards perspective?
no, the stipend of 5,000 rand. We were grateful that it was increased from 4,000 rand to 5,000 rand because I remember I have students who are doing a sixth year right now, and they've been telling us from first year they were getting like 2.5, 2,500 rand, and now it's at like 5,000, which you do appreciate it, but it's still a very, very small amount because even the rent, it's just crumbling. The economy is not stable. You check the rent. It was I think 1 ruble was like 5 to 6 rand at some point, inflation,
Hmm.
and now it's running at around 3.2, which is the 5,000 is almost like 3,000. So it doesn't get you through the month. It doesn't get you almost anywhere because we have to travel to school. We living expenses. Other people, they started using their stipend money to pay for their accommodation.
Hmm. And in terms of internally, how much have costs gone up since, well, let me use the phrase the president would use, the special military operation. How much have costs escalated since the war began?
Oh, quite a lot in prices, especially food. These days, we survive eating 2 minutes noodles, just simple, basic food that you could get as cheap as possible. It's just a mess this side.
So,
Really,
so
things are
elaborate, elaborate,
expensive.
elaborate, elaborate on that. I mean, are you able to go out to bars? You know, how much does a beer cost you? Are you able? Do you even have money for that sort of thing?
We literally do not have money for going out. We don't go out. Whatever money that we actually receive, it has to be spent directly to school because even the school demands us to do tests in the beginning of the year, like HIV test, blood test, and vaccines, things like that. We pay for like vaccines such as hepatitis. So it's really expensive, and the money does not actually fulfill all those costs. It's really bad. Even for groceries, it does not add up. It does not add up.
Hmm. Okay, so you guys, for a couple of months, have been experiencing these problems. I
Of
assume you've been
course.
in conversation with the Mpumalanga Education Department since then. What has the general message been coming from the government department, and are you happy with that messaging?
Thankfully, we have leaders that such as student council that actually contacted the government in behalf of the students. But the responses that we've been getting is just letters of buying time. You can see these people, they're just buying time and time. So it's been the same message. They're using the bus system. We can only process 40 students per day. They're using the bus system. They cannot um they have delays, they have this and that. It's just stories. We even forgot what they were telling us last week because it's
Hmm.
always been letters that are just unclear.
When you say the bus system, what is that?
The bus system, they say it's kind of like an internal system that the government uses in order to process funds. I'm not sure, I haven't done more research on it because it is just not working for me. I prefer the agent way that we were using back then.
So since the war began, the international monetary system has cut Russia off. How did you guys, and has the way in which you received your money changed at all?
Of course, with the sanctions, with the Visa cards not working, the Mastercard, we try our best when we receive money. Let's take money from home. Your parents trying to send you maybe 1,000 rand. You have to go through Binance, which is more of like a online trading platform. You buy coins using your Bitcoin, then you can transfer it to the internal systems that are used here in Russia, such as it's called Mil. I do have a card for it. Most students, they use a card which is Tinkoff. It's a Mil card.
Huh. So so that's a way around the financial sanctions is to transfer money in Bitcoin, take that Bitcoin, sell it into local currency, and then use it. And
Of
I suppose
course,
that cuts out the middleman. That's pretty much what crypto was designed for.
definitely.
Huh, that's very interesting. Okay, there's been a new date set by the department in that letter that they sent to me yesterday, saying that everything will be paid by the 14th of October. Do you have trust in this? And what happens if they're being economical with the truth here? If they miss the payments, what happens to you guys?
No, unfortunately, I've lost trust in the government and the structure of the government. How? Because since the beginning of September, I think we've been complaining about school fees and actually St. Petersburg office. They sent letters to the government, I think, since August, reminding them that student by the 1st of September, all the students should have paid their fees, tuition fees to be exact. So I've lost trust in the government, and I do not believe that by Friday, which is the 14th, everything will be sorted because we still haven't we have students that still haven't received their stipends for a period of like 3 months. So how is that possible that in a matter of a week, because we are given also a date of the 7th of October that everything will be fine, will be sorted, but still the date came and went by and no one got anything. So we cannot rely on the 14th because we've been receiving the same letter, just different dates.
Mm. So you've gone from the Department of Education in Mpumalanga. I know that the Department of International Relations, I'm told, is working on this. There are people in London. There's Haley Reichert, who initially made contact with me about this story. I know that there's Kulekani Skosana, the ANC Youth League guy who was an election observer in Ukraine. He's also, I'm told, been working in the background. How many other people are working on this that you're aware of?
That I'm aware of is actually Mr. Gilbert. It's Mr. Gilbert.
Uh,
I forgot his name, but it's Mr. Gilbert from the an organization called the South African. Sorry for a minute. It's from
mm,
an organization called the South African, which is doing some sort of like media campaign with lawyers that are actually pressing the government to be helping us, and he actually wants documents that are signed in order to set as proof that what they are saying is actually the truth. But we've been receiving signed documents since August, um, for promises that they will pay for us, they will fix everything that is happening, but nothing is being fixed at all.
what's your accommodation situation like? Is there some sort of, do you live in a dorm or an apartment? How does that work?
Me, I live in the school res, which is provided by the school. By the way, I pay directly to the school.
Okay. And are they going to evict you, kick you out if funds are not forthcoming?
Definitely, when if stipends are not if the tuition fee is not paid, because the tuition fee also goes with the accommodation for the resident, definitely they will kick me out.
Jeepers. Okay. And I just wanted to finish on a truly South African story and an unbelievable story that we spoke about off camera. You for one of your years of studying medicine, you had to do it online.
Of
Why
course.
was that? What happened?
So what happened is we went home and for holidays, of course. We went home, and around the 21st of November, I decided no, it's about time that I come back to school, because the school sent us a letter that no, the coronavirus restrictions have been uplifted, but I think the war was beginning. So the borders actually closed after the 21st of November, because I failed because of the situation that happened in the Tambo airport, which I got my passport and my luggage is actually stolen or robbed um,
Mm.
by some sort of pretending to be securities in the airport. So as soon as I applied for a new a passport invitation letter, unfortunately the borders closed down in Russia, so I couldn't come back to school. So I had to continue with actually the online group, which unfortunately on around June 2022, when we were supposed to write our exams online, the school told us no, we have to pause this online or stop this online platform that the school was using in order for us to continue with school. So they told us we should come back before the 1st of September to actually retake those exams. And unfortunately, many of us and some of the students who are stranded at home right now could they they couldn't arrive to school by the 1st of September, which they lost those chances to retake those exams. And for me, I arrived here around the 19th, 18th of September, which the period for retaking those exams had passed, which caused me to fail the subject, the modules.
Sure. Well, not to gloss
By the
over
way,
it, but
those modules are
yes.
about 8.
Well, yeah, don't want to gloss over the fact that you got robbed at OR Tambo International Airport by men pretending to be security guards. Let that be a warning to everyone. Sizwe Mkhatshwa, thank you. Good luck. I'll touch in with you guys again after Friday to see what's happening. But in the meantime, good luck. I hope it works out. Thank you.
Of course, thank you so much. May I please add something?
Sure.
There is one thing that the government is actually not noticing that is affecting the students as I'm affected, by the way, to make payments for these 8 modules that I was talking about, because the school expects you, after failing certain modules, you have to pay an amount that is close to 5,000, which is the stipend that they are giving us. And mind you, I have 8 of those subjects, which I'm given a date of the 13th, which is tomorrow, to have paid and cleared some of those subjects. And unfortunately, I do not have that money, and my family cannot support me with that money. And think about the kids that are at home stranded, who will come to school around November, which is mid-semester. It will really affect them a lot because they will be owing around 40,000.
So this entire exchange program is a complete mess because of what's happened with this implementing agent stuff up.
Of course.
Sizwe Mkhatshwa, thank you.